Roller coasters. Most people have ridden, and everyone that has a favorite.
I'd say my favorite roller coaster is the Iron Dragon at Cedar Point. My favorite part on Iron Dragon is probably when it loops over the lake.
My favorite roller coaster was probably Iron Dragon. My favorite part on Iron Dragon? I usually don't like the dropping parts in roller coasters. The feeling of dropping makes me icky. So I like how it turns into the drop most of the time, and it gets rid of that feeling.
My favorite roller coaster is probably Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. My favorite part on Steel Vengeance is when you go upside down because it feels kind of like you're weightless or flying.
Favorite roller coaster is Millennium Force at Cedar Point. On the first drop hill, you just get so much air, and then you go through a twisty, curvy, dark, tunnel-y ride.
My favorite roller coaster is Valraven from Cedar Point. My favorite part of Valraven is the drop of Valraven and the acceleration and the anticipation. I love that.
Favorite roller coaster has to be probably the Iron Dragon at Cedar Point. It's the only one I go on because I'm afraid of roller coasters, so it's easy on me. Favorite part, probably the fact this doesn't go upside down.
My favorite roller coaster is probably the Hulk at Universal. Yeah, the main reason I really like it is A, it goes very, very fast and lots of drops, a lot of circles.
My favorite roller coaster is probably Maverick at Cedar Point. I like to drop.
I don't like roller coasters, but the only one I've ever been on is the Iron Dragon, and I closed my eyes the whole time, but it was fun with my eyes closed. My favorite part of it is the end of it because I'm not riding it anymore.
You may have ridden several, but have you ever wondered how they work? Specifically safety-wise. The main way parks and manufacturers keep roller coaster cars from colliding is the use of block sections. Block sections are a section of track that only one train can occupy. As you can see in the drawing, there are several block sections on this mock roller coaster ride. First one is the station block. The next block is the lift block. The third block is coasting 1. Coasting is where the roller coaster happens. Coasting 3 is just like coasting 1 and coasting 2. Station block 2 is where passengers can get off the ride. There is a brake run in between each block. That way, the trains can't collide if one were to valley or not make it through the layout. Now let me give you a real-world example. This is the layout for Maverick. The station is more complex than the mock-up I made. Rear waiting, rear station, front waiting, rear dispatch. Coasting 1 is the first main section of the roller coaster. Launch 1 is obviously first launch. Coasting 1 goes into Launch 2 and Coasting 2. Launch 2 and Coasting 2 are combined. After Launch 2 and Coasting 2, the ride goes into pre-waiting. Maverick runs 6 trains and 9 block sections. They space out the trains in between the block sections, that way they don't collide. Have you ever wondered why roller coasters flex when the train passes by? Roller coasters flex on purpose. This is because the amount of force the roller coaster trains put on the track is so great that if it didn't flex, it could snap. There are several ways to begin a roller coaster, to use its potential energy and turn it into kinetic energy. The first and main one is the chain lift. The chain lift uses a chain to lift the train up the first hill. An example for a chain lift would be the ones on Gemini. The second way is an LSM launch. It uses an electromagnetic launch to propel the train forwards. You can see an LSM launch on Maverick. The third way is the use of drive tires. It uses several tires to propel the train forward. An example for a drive tire launch would be the one on the Incredible Hulk coaster at Universal. Another way to lift the train would be a cable lift. The cable lift is a lot like the chain lift in the way it slowly brings the train up the hill. The cable lift uses a catch car that attaches to the train to lift it up the hill. The last way I want to discuss is the hydraulic launch. The hydraulic launch has become outdated, but is a staple to the roller coaster industry. The hydraulic launch is a very powerful launch. The hydraulic launch uses pressurized oil to propel the train forward at high speeds. One of the more iconic roller coasters to use this mechanism is the original Top Thrill Dragster. Thank you for listening to me talk about the safety systems of roller coasters and how they work.